All right, all right, all right. Now, what time, what ridiculous time do we call this? It happens to be 10:30 in Florida, 10:30 in the evening in Florida. It's also 10:30, I think, in wherever you are, Chris. Wait, it's late.
Vermont.
In
Yeah.
Vermont. So, first of all, then I'd like to say hello to Grey Eagle, who, as always, is standing to my right side. And Chris, I'd like to say good evening to you too. And why are we calling, why are we doing off the cuff this late? Because we're probably thinking everybody's going to bed, everybody's snuggled down. I know there are one or two late nighters, but and in Australia we've got a nice well, wait a minute, it's in Australia, it's Friday already, right? So I see we've got one or two people popping on. We just decided, Chris and I, that we needed a wind down, especially Chris. Chris, why don't you come on with me and tell people why you need to wind down?
Why do I need to wind down? Well, I was saying to Rosemary earlier, you can go for days and days and days and you really don't see anybody or have anybody contact you. And then all of a sudden, everybody's calling and writing and stopping by. And I just got done with all that. So here we are and it's 10:30.
We actually had planned, hadn't we, to do this earlier. So I made sure that I made my good night call to my darling boy. He usually goes to bed at around 8:30 anyway, but they had a big end of school party. My daughter did a big end of school party. She does it every year for all the kids and for all the parents of the kids who go to Reese's school, so or in Reese's class, not in the entire school. So they had an end of year party because tomorrow's their last day. So I made sure that I said good night to him before we started our off the cuff, and then I waited, and then I called Chris, and I'm thinking, and I didn't get any reply. So then I texted her, "Are you okay?" Because I was worried if she was okay. And it turns out, Chris, you just were inundated with people, weren't you? And
It
stuff.
was. Yeah.
So we just thought, why not just who, you know, for the few of you who are around at this time of the night, which is ridiculous, you really should be making your cocoa or your Horlicks. If you're in England, you make Horlicks. I love Horlicks. I've not had Horlicks for ages. Or your Ovaltine. Do you know what any of those things are, Chris?
I was just going to say, I've not even ever heard you say Horlicks. It's Horlick or
Hey,
CH? Okay.
Horlicks. ICK. When I was in the hospital, so many years ago, they every night when the patients were all washed and dusted and dinner was over and done with and so on, and everybody was like, everybody was settling down, the nurses used to bring around the trolley with your bedtime beverage. And the what was it on the bedtime beverage? There was a choice. I suppose you could have tea. We are English after all, so there would be tea, but there would be Horlicks and Ovaltine, and what else did I say? I can't
I
remember.
don't remember, Rosemary. I was reading comments.
Anyway, so I would always have Horlicks because it's like a delicious malty drink, and it always made me sort of nice and sleepy and want to be sort of comfortable. And even now, all these years later, if I can't sleep, I'll often go and it's in the middle of the night, like 2 or 3 in the night, I might make myself a cup of hot milk. Uh, Maybe, depending, I might put a little tiny slosh of brandy in there or whiskey. That's always makes me sleep. I know that alcohol makes you supposed to make you wide awake, but I don't put that much in. But nice hot milk is something that I recommend to anybody who can't sleep. There's something else, by the way, that helps you to sleep. You'll think I'm weird, Chris. Have you ever heard of lettuce sandwiches?
No, I have not, unless perhaps you're a rabbit.
Right. Well, okay. So lettuce sandwiches are fantastic if you can't sleep, or you don't actually have the bread even, you just eat the lettuce. But you need the lettuce that's got that nice thick stalk to it. So let me tell you guys, you see, even though it's late at night or early in the morning or whatever it is for you all, I'm still going to just entertain you with a little tiny bit of information here. So if you take a lettuce that has that nice thick stalk to it, like a cos lettuce or something, and you snap it open, when you snap it open, you see those little tiny beads of white, right? It's like little
Mhm.
tiny beads of white milk that run all the way through the stalk of the lettuce. Now it so happens, and I can't even remember, I've known this for many years, forever, but I don't remember how I know it, but the milk in lettuce is sort of like uh, not as well. I'm trying to think what you would call it. It helps you sleep. It's sort of, it's
Hmm.
a relaxant. It's lettuce milk is really great for helping you to sleep. And in fact, you can in some stores you can actually find aids that help you to sleep or what help you to relax or whatever it is. And they very often, if you read the label and you read the fine print, they often have in them lettuce milk.
Hmm.
But a nicer way to do it is to get a good, nice piece of bread, slap a lot of butter on it, get a big chunk of lettuce with all those thick pieces of stalk in them. I love them anyway. Little salt if you feel like it. Another piece of bread on the top makes a fantastic, but with butter. I'm British. We'd never make a sandwich like you make here in the States ever, never. Um, but you eat that, well, first of all, your tummy's full. Second of all, you've got that lettuce milk. That is a nice relaxant, and it honestly does work, and it really does make you sleep. You see, I am so full of ridiculous, unnecessary, and crazy little tidbits of information.
Well, if you
You
throw in a
would,
piece of turkey on that, that's got that, what was that, trypto something in there?
yeah,
Man, that'd really
turkey
put you
also,
over
you're
the
right.
top.
Yes, you're right, Chris. This is why on Christmas Day in England, most of us have turkey. And this is why in the afternoons, we stuff ourselves with turkey, and then in the afternoons, we all feel tired. And it's not anything to do with the fact that we are exhausted or even that we've overstuffed ourselves, even though we might have. It's all got to do with whatever it is in the turkey that helps you to sleep. So you're right. If you put lettuce and turkey together, that would be a fantastic for anybody out there who can't sleep. For anybody who's watching us at 10:30 at night, or in England it might be, what is it, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3:30 in the morning, and you can't sleep. Go rummage in your refrigerator and see if you can find some lettuce or some turkey or both. And that, let me tell you, or some hot milk or Horlicks or something like that. Anyway, Chris.
Well, our West Coast friends are on, Rosemary, so that's a good thing. They're 2 and 3 hours behind us, so it's not
Oh,
as
of
late for
course they
them.
are. Yeah. So it's 7 o'clock for all of you West Coasters. So are you surprised that we're here doing this? Do you think we're crazy? This is a way of helping Chris to wind down. We're going to be talking about some mindless, ridiculous nonsense, lettuce stalks, and do you know I made a most delicious dinner tonight. I got some chicken. I could have used turkey. The ground chicken that you buy. And I got some hoisin sauce and a little bit of soy sauce and some fresh breadcrumbs. And I mixed it all together and I made myself some chicken burgers or whatever you might call them. I put
Hmm.
them on the griddle and I cooked them and they were delicious. Absolutely delicious. So that was my dinner tonight. What did you have for dinner tonight, Chris?
I had sugar snap peas, fresh sugar snap peas, um, chicken with pineapple in it that had teriyaki sauce, so it was
Oh,
sweet,
okay.
mashed potatoes, and then sliced strawberries for dessert.
Oh, so you went out for dinner tonight. I know that you did. How was that?
It was good. I was with my father-in-law and mother-in-law, and we were talking about Mike and um, looking over cards that people have sent and showing him things on Facebook because he's not on Facebook. And
Okay.
um, I think that was good. I think he needed that too.
Now, we did promise this morning, for those of you who didn't make it this morning, we did promise this morning that we would have a tale to tell, which we will have in a few minutes, about some fun stuff that's been happening with Mike. For those of you who are joining us for the first time or who haven't watched us for a few weeks, Chris, do you want to say anything about what's happened for those who don't know what's happened?
My husband and I were on a well-deserved weekend trip that Rosemary gave us great grief about going
I
on.
really did. She had no right to go off on that trip and leave me by myself.
And on that trip, God decided to take Mike, snatched him. He was with my son and daughter-in-law, and it was his time. And now we're picking up the pieces and trying to figure out where life goes from here.
And Mike has been popping in and out, as you might expect, popping in and out furiously, I might say. There have been times when he's not left us alone. So we were talking, Chris and I were talking yesterday, and we were actually talking about some of the things that we plan to do in the future. And there was Mike, Chris's husband, standing at my elbow, absolutely wanting to get involved. We shall tell you more of that story in a little while. But Chris, do we have any new people? Who do we have? Who?
Well, our dear friend Michael, who you've had a couple of interviews with, Michael Williams, is on.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Michael.
And then Karen's on from Canada. Donna doesn't say where she's on, but she's on. Wanda from Montana. Let's see.
Hi, Wanda from Montana. Did you
Eric
get my email? Did you get my little message back to you? Thank you so much for letting us know and sharing that information with us, by the way, my lovely. Yes.
Then Eric's on from California.
Don't worry, Eric. It will work out. Have a little faith, my love. Eric knows what I'm talking about. Yes. Who else have we got here?
Carol, who did the bottom brick with you. She's from Arizona.
Hi, Carol.
Then Anna, it looks like probably from Italy. Buongiorno.
Yes. Sounds like Italy.
Sarah from Chicago. Let's see. And now we're moving into, oh, and Maggie's on too. So we're moving into Carol says she uses butter on sandwiches as well, and people think she's mad.
Oh, yes. I can remember the very first time I went to a sandwich shop in America. I was in New York, and I went to a sandwich shop and I ordered whatever it was. I don't remember. Let's say it was a turkey and lettuce sandwich, Chris, for argument's sake, right? And I watched them as they're making the sandwich, and I was quite shocked. And the guy said to me, "Do you want mayonnaise on this?" And I said, "I'd like some butter on the bread, please." And he looked at me and he said, "Oh, okay. Do you want mayo on this?" I said, "Just butter on the bread is good." So he put butter on the bottom slice because I'd asked for it. And he went to put the top slice on with no butter, because in America, they don't put butter on the bread. When they're making a sandwich, the bread is completely dry with nothing on it whatsoever. And I said, "No, can you put the butter on the top piece as well. And every time I order a sandwich here in the States, I have to say, would you put butter on it? Because I don't, we don't, I like butter on my sandwiches. I like butter on my bread. Just different ways of doing things, right? Just very different ways of everybody doing things. But my grandson does not have butter on his bread. Um, I'm not quite sure why that is. I'm not sure if it's an oversight on my daughter's part or what it is. But
She's
anyway,
saving his heart. Butter
yeah,
isn't good for the heart.
no, butter's very good for you. It's very, very good
Keep
for you.
telling yourself
Good
that.
butter, real butter that's not been processed or hacked about or things added to it is very good for you. You're not supposed to eat a pound of it on a sandwich. Yes, I know I love butter. I like lots of butter. The way I eat butter is probably not so good, but still, in moderation, butter is good. And Irish butter and English butter are the best because they have less. Well, they don't have additives. First of all, you get good butter, and they don't. They have much less of the whey and more of the real butter and the cream and so on. Anyway, in other words, they're not as liquidy. Why are we
Donna,
talking about food? Why are we doing this?
because you brought it up with the cocoa and the things to help
I
people
know,
sleep.
I know, it's my fault. But you know what's going to happen now, don't you? When we've done this show, I'm going to have to go and get myself some hot milk with maybe a little spot of brandy in it.
Well, Donna says warm milk with honey.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, nothing better. I have honey every day, honey. Yes, keep going then, Chris.
Maggie says, jumping in for a moment, wonderful to see you ladies. It's so wonderful, Chris, that you have Rosemary. Going to bed now, 2:30 a.m. comes quickly. That's a tough time to get up. Ooh,
Gosh, yeah, what a tough
I would
time to
not
get up.
like that.
Thanks for joining us, though, Maggie.
And then David's on. I haven't seen David on before, so welcome, David. Deanna, and then Barb's on from Illinois.
Where's David from? Does he say?
David did not say yet.
Okay. He's
Um,
probably thinking, this is the weirdest show I've ever watched because all we've done so far is talk about lettuce, turkey, and something else. Totally not the subject that we're known for talking about, right, Chris?
yeah. Carol says when her husband was alive, he thought her silly for putting butter on a peanut butter sandwich. I almost
Oh,
said jelly.
yeah, nice. Yeah. Um. So, Chris.
David's from New Zealand.
Hi, David from New Zealand. Right, Chris. Do you want to tell the story of what happened yesterday when your husband came interfering as he always does? It's been very hard, actually, trying to ignore him. And it's hard for me because I know Mike very well. And we all love Mike. So, but he did it. He's not usually this pushy, is he? He's sort of wanting to
Mike
take
was
over a little
never
bit from time.
pushy,
No,
ever,
I
ever,
know.
ever.
Well, it's your fault because
Good.
you told him.
Thank you,
You
Mike.
said,
Keep doing it.
Mike, keep bothering Rosemary, didn't you? You
I
told him to
did.
do that.
I did.
So now he's doing it. So why don't you begin to tell the story? I'll add it if I need to, but it's your story to tell. So you tell the story of what happened last night. It was late. It was probably about this time last night.
Yeah.
What happened last night when we were talking and chatting and talking about the stuff that we're going to be planning on doing? Tell us the story, Chris.
Okay. Once upon a time,
Good job. Well done.
I was sitting at Mike's desk, which I never ever sat at when he was here. And Rosemary and I were on FaceTime. Now, we have a lamp that sits on this desk that is the type of lamp that if you tap it, it has 3 different levels of luminosity. So let's just call it low, medium, and high. There are odd times here and there where the light might turn on to low, and then I have to come to shut it off. That would be normal for us. But in the morning, no, the day before, the light was flickering, going low, medium, high, low, medium, high, low, medium, high. And I was talking to Rosemary and telling her the story about this light. And I said, you know, I think it's Mike, basically. What do you think? And Mike was right there with Rosemary and he was laughing. And instead of really coming out and saying, yes, that was me, all of a sudden the screen goes blank with Rosemary because I am sitting in the dark. And the, let's call it, the rhythm of the light went from dark, skipping low, going straight to medium, and then high. Off, medium, high, off, medium, high, off, medium, high. So Rosemary's looking at me. She can see me for 1 minute because I'm in the light, and then she can't see me because I'm in the dark. And he's chuckling, telling her what he's doing as I am experiencing what he's doing right there
Well,
in
as we're
my
both experiencing it.
true. And that was absolutely fabulous. I mean,
Yes,
we all
but wait. You had said to me, was that Mike earlier on? Was
mhm.
he messing with the lamp? And Mike said to me, no, that wasn't me, but this is me. And then started messing with the light. So he did warn us. He did tell us what he was doing, right, Chris?
Yeah, but it was so odd. I mean, because you expect a lamp to go low, medium, high, every time you tap it. It skipped the low and it went off, which this lamp never does. So it was like, oh, what a great piece of evidence, because I felt him. I felt him right there, and I'm right next to the light, and it was just such a great confirmation.
And Mike is laughing and saying, see what I can do? But we were talking about this morning, weren't we? And I was explaining to Chris how, a lot of people experience when they lose someone close to them, they experience a lot of times people will say, my TV keeps going on and off, or the lights keep flickering, or what have you. And I was explaining to Chris that because everything is about energy, and also because our loved ones in the spirit world, they are pure energy as we are pure energy. It's so easy because all they're doing is tweaking the energy. So the signs that we get when the electricity starts to flicker, or the light starts to flicker, or there's something goes on with the electricity, I think it's an easy thing for people in the spirit world to tinker with the electricity and mess about with it, to let us know that they are in fact around. And I've had so many people. I remember having a client, a little while ago. This wasn't electric. Oh, it actually was. It was an electric clock that they had, but it was a fairly valuable clock, and it had a lot of sentimental value because it was their father's clock, and their father had died, and all of a sudden the clock kept stopping, and then it would start, and then it would stop, and then it would start, and they took it to a clock repairer, a clockmaker. It cost them so much money to have this clock repaired, but the guy actually couldn't really find anything wrong. But he said to them, "Well, I've cleaned it and I've done this and I've oiled all the stuff and I've done everything, so it should be fine now." And here I am telling them. Because they came to see me, and their father came through from the spirit world to talk to us, and the father was laughing and saying to me, they just had that clock repaired. There's nothing wrong with it. He said, I'm the one who's been playing with the hands of the clock and stopping and starting the clock. So our loved ones in the spirit world can show us these signs all the time, and we don't even think about it. We don't equate it. We don't, as this couple did. They went and had the clock repaired when there was really nothing wrong with the clock. Just their father in the spirit world just mucking about, as we say in England, just messing about and trying to let us know that they're around us. So So it's very interesting when we see these things happen. And you were thrilled, I think, Chris, with that.
Oh, that was great. I mean, I've never doubted for 1 second when you tell me, hey, Mike's here, Mike's saying this, Mike's saying that. But I don't know, added bonus of being in my own house and seeing this and witnessing this for myself, maybe that helps him get off your back and he can do more here, straight off, and I can recognize it.
Well, I know that there are a lot of people on tonight who were not on this morning. So shall we tell the next story that we told this morning? Some of you will have heard it, but many of you won't have heard it. And again about Mike, and I'm going to preface the story by saying that Chris's husband was in the Air Force. He was a fighter guy, right? He was whatever
he
he
flew
was.
Fighter jets.
He flew fighter planes. I think is that what you call them? Anyway.
Yes.
And so Chris and I, Once Upon a Time, which was was it the day before yesterday, or was it yesterday?
Today's Thursday, so it must have been Tuesday night.
Okay. No, it was during the, it was during the day, because I was showing you the windows.
You're right.
So there I was with Chris. I was on FaceTime with Chris, and I've just had some new windows put in. So I was taking her around the house, and I went into the bedroom. We've had bedroom windows put in, and so on and so forth. I was showing her all the different windows. And then I sat down and we were just sitting and chatting and just hanging out. And all of a sudden I heard music, just faintly. And I said to Chris, can you hear that music? Have you got music on in the background? And she said no. And I said, well, I wonder if it's coming from outside. And I couldn't figure out where the music was coming from. But I have those little machines. I won't say the name because it'll set it off. But I have those little machines around the house, and you can say the name. I'm not going to say, set the alarm or turn off the lights or put on the lights, that sort of thing. Anyway, so I got up with my iPad. I'm walking around with Chris, and we're looking to see where this music is coming from. And as I head towards the bedroom area, the music got louder. So I went into my bedroom, and there is that little machine thing, and it's playing music. And I didn't ask it to play music, and we'd only been in that bedroom a few minutes before, and it wasn't playing then, right, Chris?
That's exactly right.
So I go in there and I say to Chris, can you believe this? This thing it must have just turned itself on. And Chris said, well, hold on. What is that music that it's playing? What's playing? And I took the iPad a little bit closer so Chris could hear it properly. Chris, what was it?
It was Highway to the Danger Zone, which is from Top Gun, which is a flying movie, which is big for anybody who's ever been in the Air Force and flies jet fighters. So it's the theme song from Top Gun, really. And so I said, that's Mike.
It's Mike's song. You said, that's Mike who's put this on. That's Mike's song. And just as you said that, the music changed, right?
Yep. Didn't wait till the end of the song. Most songs you hear on the radio or whatever. Right? Yeah, you wait, you go from beginning to end. And then as soon as we recognize, and I said, that's Mike, that's the Top Gun theme, then it switches to a new song. And this song was the theme from the movie Flashdance, which was the last movie that Mike and I watched together. So that was another wow. So that was a huge wow.
Chris said to me, that's Mike. That has got to be Mike. So because I'm a very skeptical person, I'm questioning it. I'm not saying definitely yes. You tell the next part of this story.
So you're holding your iPad, you're showing me, you know, because you've just been showing me your windows, you're in your bedroom, and all of a sudden you jump back because Mike was standing behind you.
You scared the bejesus out of me. Let me tell you. 1 minute I'm standing there talking to Chris, and we're listening to the music, and suddenly I feel somebody sort of peering over my shoulder. Made me literally almost jump out of my skin. And Chris had just said to me, "That's Mike. I'm pretty sure that's Mike." And I hear this voice come over my shoulder saying, "Yep, it's me. That's me."
Don't you just love these
So,
things?
but the problem is, you see, that Chris has told Mike, "Hey, you need to bother Rosemary as much as you can." I've had to have a long talk with Mike today to say to him, "You
Oh
need to
no!
back off just a bit,
Oh no!
just a just a little bit." Anyway, we've been having quite a lot of fun with this, haven't we, Chris?
Yeah. What did you think of when I asked last night about when it was time to go to bed and you said, "Oh, he's coming in with you," and I asked the question, does he sleep? Initially, I said, "Do people in the spirit world sleep?" And you were like, "No, let's ask Mike. Um, do you sleep?" Do you remember his answer?
I do.
Because it kind of surprised you a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, I must have been asked that question before, and maybe different people in the spirit world give different answers, but it's a little bit like the question we had today. Somebody asked this morning, does the spirit world uh, do the same day-to-day things that we do? And Gradle had a very interesting take on that,
Yeah.
because um, he was explaining that time in the spirit world is very different. Here on our earth plane, we use that 24-hour clock. I'm not quite sure how we'd manage without it, but it certainly brings order. Even though we're talking to people, it's now, what is it, almost 11 o'clock for me, so I know it's different times and different time zones. But nevertheless, we all use that 24-hour clock, which is our, the day and the night thing. So we have, yesterday, or tomorrow, or the day before yesterday. And we were told this morning that the spirit world doesn't have that 24-hour clock. So to ask the question, do they have a normal day, or are they busy during the day, is sort of a little bit of an odd thing for them, because they don't work on the 24-hour clock. Do not ask me to explain it, because hey, in this short amount of time that we've got tonight, I certainly couldn't. But going back to what Chris asked Mike yesterday, you said, does Mike sleep? And Mike was very quick to answer that question, and he said, "I rest." So it's not quite the same as sleeping, I think. "I rest" is what he said. You see, every time you ask a question of the spirit world and you get an answer, it creates at least 2 or 3 more
Oh yeah.
questions, doesn't it? So you're never done asking the question. You're never done, sort of trying to, you know, you're never done quite. You can't get all of your questions answered. Your questions, simply because the more questions you ask, the more answers you get, the more questions you have. So
Right.
let's hear from everybody. Chris, how are we doing with everybody tonight?
Well, Michael is asking, is Mike able to come through so strongly due to the fact that he just recently passed?
No, I think there's a misconception. People have a misconception. A lot of people think that if somebody has recently passed, then they are not going to come through, as you put it. They're not going to be able to talk to us, because there are a lot of people out there who say, when somebody dies, they need at least 6 months or a year or something before they'll come through, which is absolutely not true at all. Mike came through for Chris and for Calvin, for Chris's son and his wife, within a matter of a couple of hours, at the first opportunity, basically, he would not stop. He was just talking of a storm, and he described everything that he saw and everything how he felt when he was in the process of passing. Uh, Chris didn't know a lot of the details. Um, Chris's son's wife didn't know a lot of the details. It was only Calvin really who knew the exact details of even the most minute detail of what happened, and he was able to confirm it because Chris's husband was just, okay, here we go. I think it's helpful to Mike because he knows me, so he's on my wavelength, and we know each other very well, and we've known each other for a long time. So he's been a friend for a long time. I don't know that it has anything to do with the length of time Mike's been over. I don't think it's really anything. Whenever anyone from the spirit world comes through to talk to us, I don't think it's the length of time. I think it's about the energy. I think it's about being able to connect with that, that certain type of energy. And and I think that I think there are lots of reasons why people do struggle to communicate. Sometimes they are so emotional they find it hard to communicate, which is when that happens, I try to be very patient with them. I give them help, understanding. Greg Eagle helps them too, obviously. And so, usually people manage, if they want to come through to talk to us, usually they manage to do that.
All right. So the next one, Eric says, I work in grocery. I've always wondered what the difference was in Irish brand butter. Thank you for letting us know. Nobody could ever tell me that difference, and it does taste better.
Well, yes, it just is that Irish butter and English butter also, they have much less of the watery stuff in them. Then they don't have additives in them. A good brand will not have additives of any kind in. So, okay, yes, Chris, keep going.
Carol's saying it's so wonderful when we are enveloped in our beloved energy field. Such a true comfort indeed.
Yes, I agree.
Amanda's coming on from Maine.
Hi, Amanda from Maine. It's very
Um,
late for you to be up. We're glad you're up, but it's late.
let's see. Joy says, I love these stories. Let's see. Sarah says, interesting answer about resting.
Yes, yes.
And then Rhonda says, I had a terrible time with all my electronics on Tuesday when I was scheduled for a consultation. Every electronic. Do you think my father, who I so desperately wanted to hear from, could have affected my computer, phone, and batteries?
Could have. But yes, because yes, could have. But here's the thing, Rhonda, and please don't worry. We will get you in. I promise we won't leave you hanging for too long. Hopefully, but uh, again, Chris and I were talking about this. When I've often been into TV studios. In fact, if you watch some of the Lisa Gibbons shows. Um, uh, Whenever I go into a TV studio or a radio studio or anywhere where there are electronics, I do warn people, don't be surprised if things start to go a little bit haywire, because it is about energy. But I do think, Rhonda, probably that what happened here is that for whatever reason, it wasn't the right time. I'm sorry I woke you up, by the way. It wasn't the right time, and hopefully when we do eventually talk, hopefully it will be the right time for you, and it'll be the right time for your father. Nobody quite knows or understands why one day might be better than another day, although it's often the case that someone books for an appointment, and for whatever reason, whether it's the electronics or whatever it is, something goes wrong, or we have to cancel or whatever. I always say to people, don't worry, because it's simply not the right time, and we'll find the right time. But very often then something will happen with that person, or something will happen, you know, they'll have a choice to make or a decision to make. It could be a simple thing like they get a promotion, they don't know what to do about it. When they have their next appointment, they have different questions perhaps than they would have asked. So don't fret, my darling. We'll see if we can get your daddy to talk to us. No promises, of course, but we'll see what we can do about that. Chris.
Joy is saying, OMG, are you guys really live? And I caught it. Hi, Chris, Rosemary, and Gray Eagle. It's Joy from Tampa.
Oh, hello, Joy from Tampa. Do I know you, Joy from Tampa? I don't think I do, but you're only up the road from me, you know. Just saying, Joy, just saying. You know, I do this every time when I find that people are sort of so close to me. I say, you know, there are lots of restaurants, you know, maybe we could meet for lunch or walk on the beach or whatever it is. Nobody's taken me up on it yet. Joy from Tampa. Yes, it's very late. And yes, we are live. Chris wanted a wind down session. We were going to do this earlier. We were actually not planning on doing this late at night. But Chris has been busy and crazy and making decisions and having all sorts of things to do today. And I said to her when she finally called me and she said, okay, do you want to do this late? I said, I'm going to leave the choice up to you. So that's why we're here doing this, because Chris is winding down. How's it working for you, Chris? Are you winding down?
No, I'm getting more excited. Well, Sandra's
Okay.
saying hello from Ohio. And
Hi, Sandra.
Peggy Lee, boy, we went out to dinner with Peggy Lee. Gosh, I don't know. That's a couple years ago now, isn't it? When I was down in Florida.
We
She's saying
did.
hello. Yeah, we went to the place off the interstate, didn't we? With the I think we had fish. Anyway, she's saying hello.
Hello, Peggy Lee.
And then let's see. Now I have to scroll back down. Karen's on saying hello. Amanda's saying, I've been having a rough time and I don't know what's going on with me. So I've been suicidal and really want to die so bad. I have problems I don't know about my future anymore.
Who is this saying this?
This is Amanda.
Amanda. Now you look at me. Listen to me, my darling. So, this life that we're given is a gift. It's a gift from God. It might not be a great life. It might be difficult sometimes. I don't think there's one person who hasn't suffered difficulty, who hasn't been depressed. There's not one person who hasn't struggled with life from time to time. I want you to go find someone. Now, if there's nobody in your area, if you don't have family you can talk to, if you don't have a church that you can go to the Sally Army. You know what the Salvation Army is? They are amazing. Just go and talk to someone so that they can help you, even if it's just to hold your hand and get you through this. We can do this, but we're online, so it's not quite the same, is it? But you need a body, you need a person, you need somebody warm who can put their arm around you and tell you that it's going to be okay. But no more talking now of this giving up in this way, because that's what you would be doing. And let me tell you, I'm going to tell anyone out there who is thinking this way, however hard you think your life might be now, if you, for those people who do take their own life, you have no idea how hard it is for them. So whatever you think you're going to be escaping, you're actually not. You're going to be worse off, much, much, much worse off, because you're going to have to be dealing with all of the stuff that goes on in your life. So don't think, any of you, that suicide is the answer, because let me assure you, it absolutely is not. So darling, go find someone you can talk to, you can confide in, and you've got to be brave, my darling, and I know you can be, and I know that you can do this. Life is not always easy, but it's a gift, and we should treat it as something that is special and precious. And we're here for you. You know, we are here for you. And I'm going to put you on my healing list. I'm going to be sending you healing so you're feeling better and better and better and better and better. That's what we're going to be doing. Chris.
Linda says, hello, I am a first time viewer. So
Hi, Linda.
glad I get to see this, and I live in California.
Oh, I wonder whereabouts in California. I know California fairly well. Um, I've been there a lot, well, different depending on different places. The beaches are, of course, spectacular. And yeah, I mean, so let us know whereabouts in California. And we hope that you're enjoying this show today. It's very weird. We've talked of lettuce and turkey sandwiches. We've talked of Horlicks and Bovril. That's another one. And um, let's see, what else did I say? Uh, hot milk with a little drop of brandy in it or something. I don't think I have any brandy. I might have to just put a drop of whiskey in there. We'll see. Anyway, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Chris, keep going.
Carol says, I'm curious about this electronics thing going awry. My abusive ex husband hated me to be around his precious computers, as they would always malfunction if I were near the premise where the computers were.
Oh dear. Well, everything is about energy, and maybe the energy that you were sort of sending out there inadvertently was messing with his computers. Maybe on some subconscious level you just wanted to upset him or something, or just mess with him a bit. I don't know. But yes, I mean, I do really have to warn people, and if you watch the Lisa Gibbons show that I've been on quite a few times, it there's one particular show where uh, there's someone who belonged to the camera crew and the sound crew was actually killed on a motorbike, and he came through on the live on the show. He came through to talk to us all, and he was laughing so hard. And his one comment to his all of his friends in the crew, because he was they'd been working together for many years, so they all knew each other very well. And he was laughing. He said, and he told the whole audience, and I was able to tell the whole audience through him. So we nearly didn't do the show today, right? Because all of your electronics were going wrong. And this guy was laughing, and he said, just messing with you all, it was all down to me. Just thought I'd make you chase around. And so that was something that nobody in the audience knew. And I certainly didn't know it. And everybody, all of the camera crew and the sound crew and everybody involved in the show, they were holding the breath, because they really thought they wouldn't be able to do the show because of the electronics. Fortunately, just in time, the guy who was killed on the motorbike stopped messing about, and we were able to go on air. But he was able to tell them all, it was all down to me. I just thought I'd have you running around. Keep going, Chris.
Amanda added one more thing. She said, I've been hearing a lot of voices that are telling me things, and it's not sounding good.
Amanda, look at me again. You need to pay attention to me. Go find someone sensible. Go find, you need somebody from a church or a counselor of some kind, or go to the Salvation Army, my darling, because they will help you. Chris.
Rhonda says, thank you so much. That makes me feel so much better. My heart was broken thinking my father was not ready to come through.
Oh,
Chris,
sweetheart, don't do that. No, of course not. It's just, it obviously wasn't the right time, but it will be the right time, Rhonda. Don't worry.
yeah, she does have an appointment coming up.
Good.
Let's see. Wanda is asking, are there techniques or trainings that you have available or that you would suggest that could help me learn more about the healing hands that we talked about in our call?
Absolutely. If you go to if you go to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, you'll see we have there are lots of videos. I show people how to give healing. I show people how to give healing to their own self, but I also show people how to send out healing to other people. So there's a lot of instruction there. We are also going to be doing webinars where we're going to be doing healing webinars where I'm going to be able to teach you all through the webinar how to give healing, what you should or shouldn't do, and also how to extend your own energy, how to learn to raise your level of consciousness so that you can really do a good job on healing. So yes, there are lots of techniques, but what I first suggest you do is go to the YouTube channel, go and look at, it'll be under healing
Healing hands.
hands, healing hands around the world, because we do ask people to join us for that 11 o'clock, 11 a.m., wherever you are in the world, 11 a.m. your time, if you could just spare. It only takes 30 seconds. We call it the Healing Minute, and I ask people to join us, to hold hands with us, holding hands around the world to send healing, to send our healing thoughts. We just talked about thoughts being energy. So I ask everybody if you could join us. It takes seconds, really. Just all you have to do is send out a healing prayer. Dear God, please allow me to be a part of the process of healing. Allow me to participate with you in the healing process. That's what you need to do. And don't forget, of course, at the end of that prayer, I always instruct my students to say, Dear God, I will to thy will, because it's not up to us what happens with healing. It's just up to us to share our energy and to allow those in the spirit world to use that energy for the process of healing. And I talk, as I've said, I talk more about this. So go to my channel on YouTube and you'll find Healing Hands Around the World and check that out.
All right. Linda says, I live in Modesto, so this was California, and grew up in the Bay Area in Pleasanton. I have all your books, and each one has touched me in a unique way. My favorite is Proud Spirit.
Oh, really? Don't you love that photo? It was taken quite a long while ago. Of course, I was much younger then, but I love that. I love that photo. I'm not sure what happened to my hiking boots, but the boots that are in that photo, I love those boots. I'll have to see if I've still got them somewhere. Chris.
Judith just popped on. She said she never
Hi,
got the
Judith.
live notice on YouTube that you went live. And I'm
Oh,
going to
no.
suggest, if you're having this kind of problem with YouTube, check your phone to see if you have notifications listed on your phone, if that's what or your iPad, whatever you're watching this on. And worst case, don't worry about being subscribed on YouTube, subscribe on Facebook.
Yes, if you go to our website, there is a little button there. You can click on that, and that will help you to subscribe. And if you do subscribe on our website, we will send you once a month. We send you a newsletter, and we'll tell you what we're doing, what we're up to. We were supposed to have I know some of you listening were planning to join us for our webinar this coming Saturday. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel it because Chris is very insistent that she wants to participate, quite rightly. We were going to be talking to the spirit world and giving messages to all of everybody who joined the webinar. We were going to be giving messages from your loved ones in the spirit world. And I say we, Gregel and I, were going to be doing that. We've done it once before, and it worked brilliantly. We've done it once before in this forum on the webinar, and it worked brilliantly. So we were going to do it again on Saturday. However, this Saturday is being dedicated to Chris's husband, Mike. They're having a memorial service. It's a very special event that's happening, right, Chris?
Yes, we're going to have 10 to 12-year-olds probably take us into the dugout and tell us something about Mike, because he was their umpire, he was their coach, he was a guy that jumped in and did anything that had to be done really for the town. So they are putting this all together for our family, which we're very grateful for.
So obviously, we will not be doing the webinar, but we have set another date, which is the 24th of July. So for those of you who were booked for the webinar this coming Saturday, we'll just transfer your tickets to the 24th of July. If you cannot make the 24th of July, I think we're doing one in August as well, right?
August 21st will be the next one.
Oh, the 21st.
Yep.
But if any one of you out there who's not heard of us doing this before, go to our webpage, rosemaryaltea.com. You'll see it. There it is. It'll be up, and all you have to do is click, and it'll tell you how to get your tickets. The tickets are $65, I think, and we are doing a 3-hour, which is a long stint. We're doing a 3-hour webinar, and I shall be giving messages from the spirit world. That is the majority of what we'll be doing. We'll be giving as many messages as we possibly can to your loved ones in the spirit world. And it's amazing. Even if you yourself don't get a message, listening to the messages, listening to the way that it's done, watching the way that I work, watching the information, listening to the information and the detail through these messages is fascinating in itself. So again, check that out. The date for July is the 24th. It'll be a Saturday morning at 3 hours, and the date for August will be the 21st, I think.
Yes.
So check that out, because it is going to be interesting. Now, usually on Saturday mornings we do a story time. Unless we're doing a webinar, we do a story time on Saturday mornings. We thought that instead, because we can't do anything at all on Saturday because Chris will be busy, we might do an off-the-cuff stuff on Saturday late afternoon, or even sometime in the evening we'll be doing something. And we may probably be doing something on Sunday as well. So watch out for it. If you, again, if it's not telling you, because usually it flashes on the screen on your phone or your computer or whatever, it flashes up there, Rosemary Altea is now live. If you go into your notifications, it could be that they're switched off. It could be that your notifications are switched off on your phone or your tablet or whatever it is that you're using. So check that out and make sure that that's working, and that it's switched on. And that way you'll be able to know when we're popping in and out.
Also, right, Twitter. Yes. Twitter will give you a notification that we've gone live too.
Yes, Twitter. Yes, yes, of course. Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah, you've got two. You have two different Facebook pages that will pop up depending what you're on. But Rosemary, you're right at the hour now.
Oh, we can't stop now, can we? Can we? Oh,
well, I'm not seeing any more questions, so we might have to. There is one comment that I chuckle. I think it's great. Deanna says, logged in to check my stock groups. Didn't know this was a thing. Do you do these often? I love it.
Oh, yes. Oh, that is so funny. During the month of May, for those of you who have only just joined us or haven't joined us before and are just enjoying this show, right, as we're enjoying it, okay, this is what we did for the entire month of May. I can't believe you all missed it, but for the entire month of May, we did something every single day, and sometimes we did something twice a day. We had all sorts of things going on. We did the bottom brick exercise. We had volunteers on doing the bottom brick exercise. You're wondering, what is she talking about? Go to YouTube. It's all on YouTube. We had, what did we do? We did the healing sessions. We had, what else did we do?
Cooking.
We had story. Sorry?
We had cooking.
Sunday mornings was the cooking show. Yes, we had, see, we have all these things going, and it was Chris's idea for the cooking show, she said, why don't we have a dinner and you can show people the first week you can do the appetizer, the second week you can do the main course, the third week you can do desserts, and the fourth week do whatever you like. We ended up having 5 weeks, I think, of it.
Yeah.
And the first week I showed people, what did I show you? Can't remember.
Oh my
Gosh,
goodness.
I can't even remember
Well, I
what the
remember
appetizer.
I remember your daddy's toddy was one of the
Rosemary's
drinks,
cream
and
cheese. No, we did Rosemary's special cream cheese, which is unbelievably delicious. And then we had, I did grouper, baked grouper uh, with a Parmesan coated crust. That was so good. Then we did for the dessert. I did meringues, little baby meringues, and I showed you what to do with them. And what else did we do? Uh, Meringues, and I made creme patissiere, yes, and I put a little pastry thing. You've missed, for those of you who didn't catch this, you missed all of this, but you can go find it if you go to YouTube and you go to my channel. You can go find all of these things that are so. We had so much fun doing this, but for the whole month of May we did something, because May was a very special month this year. The 25th, I was very young when I did this, just saying. Uh, the 25th anniversary of my very first book, The Eagle and the Rose, which became a New York Times bestseller. 25 years ago. So we had to celebrate it. So we're actually celebrating all year long, one way or another, doing lots of different things. And we developed this off the cuff thing. I said to Chris one day, why don't we just do something off the cuff one night and surprise everybody and pop up in people's lives? And that's why we're doing the off the cuff stuff, as I like to call it. But yeah, we've got all sorts of things. So check it all out and go to the website, check that out. So this week, for those of you who say, do you do this often? We'll be possibly doing something tomorrow. Definitely we'll be doing something over the weekend. We'll not leave you hanging, I promise you, but you can go and check us out and see what's what. So we'll be doing more and more and more of this stuff, off the cuff stuff. Chris, anything else going on there?
a couple of things. Mari Lena says, "Wow, I don't know how I got to you, but I am happy to see you. A long time ago, I used to watch you on a TV show. I would have loved to be able to hear something from my loved departed ones."
Well, I think everybody is of the same opinion there. Chris, how does it feel to be that special chosen one right now?
Extremely
You're,
fortunate.
yeah, it is, for my friends and for my family, who I spend quite a bit of time with and who they're around me. For them, and even for you, Chris, even before Mike passed, right? I mean, it was perfectly normal and natural for you to see me give messages to people and to work with people. If we went out for dinner, for instance, it's always interesting going out for dinner with me, because
It really is.
it it doesn't matter where we go, does it, or what restaurant we go to. You know, the spirit world is, they'll tap me on the shoulder. Just, can you see the woman across on the next table? That's my wife. Can you give her a message? Or I might have someone tap me on the shoulder, and somebody's sitting just a couple of tables down there, and they'll say, could you just give a message to my husband? I would just want to tell him and we do it all the time, right, Chris? I
Just the
don't
look of
push.
shock on their faces. But, you have to be so creative, because you can't just walk up to somebody and go, "Hey, your dead husband is standing here." I mean, you've got to come up with some real excuse to talk to them, to connect with them in some way before you can actually tell them anything. So,
Well, I always think if the spirit world wants me to do it, they'll find a way. And often people start talking to us. Or often, somebody will come up to me and they'll say, do I know you from somewhere? And no, but, and we start up conversations with people. Every restaurant that we go into, and every time we go out for a drink, or we whatever it is we're doing, and very often in stores. So it's perfectly normal that, so I try not to push this onto people. I won't do this unless I'm asked to do it. But the amount of people who, when they find out this is what you do, they'll say, can you see anything for me? And I'll say, no, not really. Because if I'm out to dinner, I mean, hello, I do have my private
You
life.
need the break. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I actually don't have a private life, do I, Chris? Because I'll say no, and then somebody in the spirit world will say, oh, come on, just do it for me. Go for it. Yes. And I usually do. So, do we have anything else going on here, Chris?
Michael saying, Rosemary, I was thinking about visiting Florida for my birthday and I would love to have
Ooh,
drinks.
you're on. Michael, let me know. Let me know. Anything else going on, Chris?
A couple more comments. Deanna says, I emailed you yesterday. This
Oh, you
is
did?
too coincidental. I think we are meant to connect. And please
Oh,
repeat the date for the next webinar.
the next webinar will be, it's in place of the one that we had planned for this coming Saturday. There are, excuse me, my back is out a little bit today. There are still tickets left, and if you go to my website, rosemaryaltea.com, all one word, there'll be a button you can click on, and it'll show you exactly how to get tickets. The webinar is this coming webinar that was supposed to be for this coming Saturday has now been moved, and it will be on the 24th of July. The 24th of July. It is a Saturday morning. It will be 3 hours. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning and it will go till 1 o'clock. That is purely and simply, we shall be giving messages to people who join the webinar. We'll be giving messages, Gregel and I will, and even if, because you can't always give everybody a message, especially if we try to keep the groups small, but even so, I'm just one person. And, so even if you don't get a message, you still can see how these things work, and you can still see the quality of the messages that are given. And that's, I think, important, because when you see the quality of the messages, that's what you want when you come to see somebody like me. You go to somebody who you want to make a connection with your loved ones in the spirit world. This is the quality that you're looking for. This is what you want when you go to get a message. So it's really a good experience for people to see that. So the 24th of July, tickets are $65. Go to my website, rosemaryaltea.com, and just click on whatever the link is there, and it will take you, it'll show you how to get a ticket. If you have a problem with it, if you struggle or you can't manage it, email me, Chris, Kris, Chris, there she is, Chris at rosemaryaltea.com, because Chris is the one who deals with all the emails and does all the answering of stuff and so on. So Chris, Kris at rosemaryaltea.com. And the next webinar, if you can't make the what did I say it was?
4th, July
Thank you.
24th.
See, I've already forgotten. You need a pen and paper, everybody. If you just go to the website, it'll be down there as well. It'll all be there. If you can't make the 24th of July, then there'll be another one on the 21st
21st.
of August. Am I good or what, Chris,
You're
here?
very good, because we just decided that this morning.
I know. So go to the website, everybody, and you'll find it there. Anything else going on, Chris?
Wanda's saying, my daughters and I and grandkids will be in Orlando mid-July. I would love to visit Tampa and buy you dinner.
Well, oh, Wanda, I'd love that, and I'd love to meet your family. Unfortunately, my summer is going to be spent in New York with my darling daughter and my darling boy. So maybe, maybe another time. But I would absolutely love to meet you, and just give you a big hug anyway, aside from anything else. But thank you for the invitation. I'll have to pass for another time because I should be in New York and doing my thing, and I'll also be taking some private consultations from time to time while I'm in New York. Just imagine in person. What must it be like to sit with moi in person? And I do actually do in-person consultations here in Florida as well. If anybody's curious about that, Chris.
So now you just have a couple of people saying, Judith saying, thank you, Rosemary, Grey Eagle, and Chris. Barb saying, my friends, you warm our hearts. Thank you for being in our lives. And Sharon saying, grateful for you, Rosemary.
Oh, well, look, I'm grateful for all of you. We really do appreciate you joining us. We really do appreciate your involvement, and we love your questions and we love your comments. We love all of that. I'd like to say a special thank you to Chris, because even though there you are, you're bright and shiny, you've got a beautiful smile on your face, but I know what a tough time you're having, and Mike is here right with us. Give him one opportunity, give him a
Yes.
little tiny crack, and in he comes. Wants to say that he's here as well with you. So Chris, we're all rooting for you, and if anyone out there would care to send Chris some healing thoughts and healing prayers, and especially for Saturday, because we know, although it's going to be an amazing thing for you as a family, to witness all of those people who love Mike so much, it's going to be a very emotional time for you as well. So we're all thinking of you on Saturday morning. And so a special thank you to you. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. And for all of you out there, really, really, I do love you guys. It's so nice of you to join in. And as late as it is, some of you are still up. Are you crazy? Oh, wait, I'm going to be up for a while as well. I'm going to be making myself some hot milk and maybe a little bit of the brandy in there, and maybe I'll read for a while. Anyway, in the meantime, I'd like special thanks to my spirit guide Gradle, who, as always, is standing to my right side. What would we do without him, everybody? We wouldn't be able to manage without him, would we?
Nope.
So until I see you next time, watch for the off the cuff stuff. Go to the website to see what we're up to. We shall be around. I promise you, we'll be popping in and out. So make sure, if your notifications are on your phones or your tablets or whatever, uh, do something about it. We can't help you. You have to do that side of things. Until I see you all again, it's been a lot of fun to do it this late at night, right, Chris?
Yes.
Right, Chris?
Yes.
All right. So thank you, everybody. Until I see you again, please, please, please have a very, very blessed rest of the day, everybody. Bye bye.